Was that a ghost? Did I just hear a spirit? Hey, beautiful beings. I am so excited to get into this topic. It is one that I'm asked about quite often. I'm happy to share my own experiences because I do experience quite a bit. And this is just more or less to help you validate your experiences, because if you're watching this video, you likely have had a visitation and connection with spirit, and it's not a bad thing. Let's talk about it. Can spirit be good or bad? The answer to this is yes. Most often, the spirits that are visiting you are good, are of light, but there can be some lower vibrational beings that visit. First, though, I want to bring your attention to recognizing if it's your own personal anxieties, fears, and blocks from spirit. The media has not been very helpful in strengthening our connection to spirit. We are really infused with a lot of fear from movies and shows and books that gives us the wrong idea of spirit and sort of implants this idea in our mind that there are spirits that are out there to haunt us and possess us and cause us harm. Yes, that is a possibility. However, 99.9% of the time, it's spirit coming up, showing up from a place of love and light and goodness and high vibrations and all the good stuff. So it is really important for us to work through some of our fears and our hesitations. Once we can kind of identify what is our personal thing to work through, it can be easier then to identify if the spirit that is visiting us is for our well-being or not. So first, what is spirit? Spirit is an energy being. It is a being of energy, not necessarily in a physical form. It can show up in an animal or in a plant, but it's often an energy that is a loved one, someone from your spirit team, your guides, guardians, your angels. It could also be a being that never actually existed on Earth. Take that however you want to, but it could be an extraterrestrial being. I've personally experienced that as well. I've also had connections with fairies, and I have had other clients share their connections with fairies as well. So there's all sorts of mystical beings existing in the spirit realm. It could also be an energy from the land that you might be on or the environment that you're in. You may have rented or be visiting or live in an older home, and you might experience some energies that are around. I will say houses, things are never haunted. That's not actually a real thing. There will be some residual energy to these places, and yes, they can revisit that space, but spirits don't get lost. Spirits aren't stuck here. That's not a real thing. Once you start to work through your blocks and your patterns, and then you can sort of start to identify the energy of the spirit that's showing up, you can then start to recognize the patterns and how they show up and start to identify who might be showing up, because they will show up to us in patterns, in signs and synchronicities and symbols. How to tell when spirit is showing up. Let's get into this. I want to talk about the first way, which is seeing spirit. I'm really excited to talk about this because I know it can be alarming sometimes when we first interact with spirit, or if we are interacting with spirit on a regular basis, and it can feel a little, I don't like using the word crazy, but you can feel like you're kind of losing your mind a little bit when you are having these encounters or these experiences. So I am so happy to come here today to share some of these experiences, share some confirmation, so that we can move through those fear blockages. So you might see spirit in the form of a shadow. You might see a shadow move quickly past your eye, quickly out of your peripheral vision. You may sense or see a spirit, a figure in the corner or behind you. You might sense it through light. You may see streams of light or little floaties, little floaters, I like to say, these little orbs of light. And It's almost kind of like fairy dust in a way. You may also notice them through your electronics. You may see lights flickering on and off. Your electronics might turn on and off, your TVs, your computers, your radios. That is a really great way. Spirit does love communicating through electricity, electronics, because it is energy, it's a frequency, their energy, and it's easy to find an energetic frequency that they can communicate through. So if they're really trying to get your attention, you may notice that your TV turns off or your TV randomly turns on, and that is literally just them being like, yo, I'm trying to connect with you. I've got something to tell you. So I mentioned that spirit can also take form in the shape of animals, and this can be a common symbol for you, and this could be ladybugs, dragonflies, butterflies, birds, bees, snakes, you name it. It will all sort of be an intuitive connection that you have with spirit, and you likely can already sense who it is showing up through those specific animals. So that'll lead me right into the next way of seeing them, through signs and symbols. So animals could be one of the signs and symbols. They also can show up by seeing like a random feather somewhere. Coins, pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters, whatever it is for you. It's typically a relationship with you and spirit specifically. And again, you'll sort of already know who it is when my clients say, I keep noticing dimes, or I keep noticing this pennies around. I will say, when you pick up that penny or when you pick up that coin, who do you intuitively connect with first? Who is the person that pops into your mind first, or who do you feel first? That is usually the spirit or the loved one that's trying to communicate with you and will get your attention through those objects over and over again. It could also just be like symbols, hearts, clovers, stars, different little symbols like that you might notice. Whatever they may be, use your intuition to be able to tap in with which spirit, which loved one it might be, and then create that language with them. The other way that spirit will communicate with you is through smells. So you might smell coffee, tobacco, perfume, flowers. You'll smell something and there won't be a physical thing there, a source there to show you that, yeah, there's coffee brewing. It'll just be something you smell with no physical source. You may smell something foul, and this might be an indicator of a spirit that's not in your well-being. You might smell something rotten or foul, putrid, and you can ask that spirit to leave. And we'll go into boundaries with the spirit world as well. Another way that they may show up for you is by hearing. So you might hear knocking or tapping on your walls, on your doors, on your windows. You may hear your name being called. You might hear phrases, little sayings or sentences from them. They're very, very subtle, but it will almost sound like it's their voice, but not quite, and more like your voice. Do you know what I mean? So you might hear their favorite songs on the radio. You might hear their favorite jingles or theme songs to the TV shows and the movies that they love to watch. They will come through by us hearing them. You may also hear a ringing in the ear. This is another common one if you are pretty strong with your clairaudience abilities. Now, if you're hearing this ringing on the regular, like almost every day, maybe go get your ears checked, but you might hear the odd time a ringing and almost feel a sensation, or it might feel like you've almost gone down a tunnel or something. It'll just sound a little different. That's usually a sign that spirit is there and saying hello in the ear. Our pets may also sense them as well. So your cats and your dogs may also give warning that spirit's around. You may notice that they'll look off into the corner, look off into space, look off into nothing, and they'll often be sensing spirit. My cat does this a lot, especially after I've done readings or when I'm doing my own meditations and intentionally doing work to connect with spirit. She will likely let me know by looking off into space that spirit is there saying hello. Another really big sign that I'm often told about by my clients is by physically feeling spirit. So you may feel an entity or a presence or a being in your home just by this physical sense of them, just like a sort of knowing that there's something there. You may feel like a brush of cold air. You might get the chills, the hairs on the back of your neck might stand up. So you might feel them and sense them in that way. Or you may physically feel their touch. You might feel a tapping on your shoulder. They might touch your leg or your arm. You might even feel them on you when you're in bed, on your back or on your chest. Taking a seat beside you or laying down beside you. You might even physically feel the bed move or the chair move. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's usually kind of something little subtle, but you are aware that your bed just moved. And that is totally spirit trying to get your attention and letting you know that they're around. Now, a very common question is, why am I always feeling this or sensing spirit at nighttime before I go to sleep or when I'm asleep? Simple answer to that is just that that's the easiest time to get our attention. That is when we are quiet, the house is quiet. You know the way the world works. Hustle, go, we're really busy. It's hard for spirit to get in. It's hard for us to have our attention turned into spirit. But when we're winding down from the night or from the day and our nervous system is calm and we're just chilling, maxing, relaxing, that's the best way for spirit to be like, yo, what's up? Say hello. Let's talk about boundaries with spirit. As I mentioned before, it's really important to learn to identify if you're sensing that something's not feeling right. Is that your own personal fears and anxieties and worries? Or is it actually the spirit itself, and is it not there for your well-being? If it is in fact not there for your well-being, or you just don't want to experience spirit, you can let them know to leave you alone. You can physically say out loud, you're not welcome here. I don't want you around. You need to leave. They will listen. You might want to repeat it a few times. They will listen. I want to remind you that you are in charge of your own energy field. You are responsible for your energy field. You're allowed to dictate what and who can enter your physical surroundings and space. If you are still sensing an unwelcome energy or presence in the home, take a look at my other videos that are there for energy clearing for your physical energetic self and also your space, your home, your workplace, your car. Take a look at those videos and they can help with some energy clearing, sort of remove any stale energy, heavy energy, and invite in some more light and some more love. Okay, so we've established that spirit comes around. We've established how they come in and the ways that they connect with us. Now what? Actually, you don't have to do anything. If you want to connect with spirit, you can, and they freaking love it. You can literally say, hey, I know you're here. I'm acknowledging your presence. Thank you for being here. It's nice to sense you. It's nice to feel you. Thank you for showing up. If you are celebrating something in your life, they may be just showing up to be able to let you know that they're around, make you aware that they're there. You might be going through something a little heavier as well, and they will show up to help offer some guidance, some support, some love, and just be there with their presence. If you feel that they have a message for you, ask them. They will send you signs and symbols. They will give you little nudges. I love getting nudges from spirit. The biggest way to be able to learn how to identify these nudges and allow this conversation with spirit to really happen is to strengthen your intuition. I talk about this all the time, but once you start to work on your intuitive skills, it'll be so much easier to have a really nice connection with spirit and make it a regular occurring thing. Another easy way to connect with them is just by connecting with yourself. Meditate, go for a walk, float in the water, go for a swim, and just get quiet with yourself. You will likely hear nudges, whispers, guidance, messages from spirit. You can create your own language by having them show up and show you specific signs and specific symbols to things that are correlating with your life at that time, or the guidance that you're looking for, the clarity that you're looking for. Just ask, but then be open to receiving and allow time for yourself to really quiet down, to pick up and get in touch with Spirit to understand what message they have to deliver for you. And so that's it. Yes, Spirit does exist around us. The spirit world is not separate from us. We are sort of interacting and existing together. They love to be there for us. They love to support us. They love to offer us guidance. They can't swoop in or really interfere with your life. You have to invite them in. They'll show you little subtle signs, as I mentioned, but you can expand the connection with Spirit just by establishing your own boundaries and your own connection. It is very much an intuitive thing, which is why I stress so highly about developing the intuitive skill, because like I said, it will open up your connection to Spirit, and it can be a really beautiful experience and language to have in your daily life. So have fun with Spirit. Open up that connection. It's such a beautiful one, and it will change your life, I promise. I am so excited to connect with you in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you'll get alerted to when the next video pops up. Have a great day.